Hashtag Feedback Friday. I'm in a great mood today, David Hero, here on Memorial Day weekend. It's the kickoff. We had a barbecue at the studio here earlier today. Had some bratwurst,
wait.
some Polish sausage, some hamburgers, some veggie burgers for me.
I didn't get that.
Oh, yeah, we forgot to invite you.
You know I'm a grill guy.
You never bring a dish to pass. All you do is mooch.
There's lots of dishes to pass.
Well, folks, on this show, we talk about your comments about our broadcasts over the course of the last week, and especially coming off the heels of the ever so popular Greatest Ever series last week.
How great was that series?
Had a lot to talk about. Well, it comes back again this upcoming Wednesday with the greatest deal ever.
How great was it that the masses agreed with the spoken word?
Of course, you view it that way, but folks, the masses are you who make PWR the most
some of them
watched
have masses, but I'm saying
wrestling
is
talk
that
show
the
on
spoken
YouTube,
word,
celebrating nearly 14 million views of our videos since 2006, and we welcome your comments on all of our videos.
That's
so let's get
FaceTime,
to some of those comments left on last week's episodes of our broadcast. Firstly, a user on YouTube by the name of Hammerhead says the following regarding Daniel Bryan. That's what it says.
Hammerhead?
Hammerhead. Better than a hammer toe. That's a camel toe. What's a hammer toe?
No, hammer toe is different than camel toe.
What's a hammer toe?
It's when the toe is like hammered down.
And what's a camel toe again?
It's a different area that's hammered down.
Hammerhead says the following regarding Daniel Bryan. All I can say is I knew this would happen. Bryan's appeal was in the journey, not the destination.
He knew. I've been saying that for how long? Since the Royal Rumble.
Since after I said it, actually.
Are you serious?
I said it. You hopped on the Yes Movement. Daniel Bryan won. You hopped off the Yes Movement, and now Hammerhead is agreeing with you.
Yes Movement
because people
anymore.
always forget the real smart one on this program says all this stuff first, and you just coattail.
I don't coattail you.
You coattail.
You think so?
You coattail.
Poor Daniel Bryan. I legitimately, seriously, emphatically feel terrible for the man.
For drafting him onto the Super Friends because
with the first pick in the I gotta pick up somebody for him now.
Well, we got a few.
I'll take John
we got a
Cena.
week left at least between the.
I'll take John Cena.
You can't. I have John Cena.
How'd you get John Cena?
I picked him.
Cheated. Go ahead.
Anything else to say to Hammerhead's comments?
Well, I'll be honest. When I heard his name,
about the journey.
I was like,
It was about the journey.
what's he gonna have to say?
And now, why care about Daniel Bryan? That's the harsh reality, folks. Why care? He's gotten what you. Be careful what you ask for. You just might get it. You got it. Now what? Now why do you care? Zack
number
Ryder.
5 guy in the company.
Behind.
The Shield.
And.
Bray Wyatt.
And.
John Cena.
And.
Well, the Shield takes up 2 or 3 spots.
Kareem Brown says, and I quote, "It would actually be pretty smart to put the belt on Lesnar." This is a point we made last week. Who could legit beat that dude? Nobody. It adds a sense of legitimacy, and when Bryan gets back, he would have a monster heel to battle against to get his title back.
Man, Daniel Bryan could never beat Brock Lesnar.
But there's that journey again. It'd be fun trying.
Yeah, but you know what, though? Okay, eventually the little engine that could gets knocked off the tracks.
Daniel Bryan's from Washington.
But he's a little engine that could.
Oh, engine.
What'd you think I said?
I heard you say something else.
No. And it's like, you can only cheer for the guy so many times to climb that mountain. And eventually, you just knock him, you just pie face him off the mountain, let somebody else try.
Pie face him off the mountain and let somebody else try.
Yeah, you only get so many chances.
Another user on YouTube's at Mr. J, says, and I quote, "I wouldn't blame the ratings entirely on Daniel Bryan. I mean, he's feuding with Kane, and even though the last match was decent, Kane isn't really a draw anymore."
You know, Stone Cold Steve Austin had a feud with Kane. He had pretty good ratings.
Everybody forgets the matchup between him and Kane at King of the Ring 1998, where Kane beat him for the one of them took back the championship afterwards on Raw. Let me finish. Bryan also hasn't been booked as a very strong champion, and the overall WWE product to the casuals just isn't there. I'm enjoying guys like Cesaro, Bad News Barrett, Wyatt, and The Shield, but the casuals have no idea who they are.
Who are the casuals?
Fans.
Oh.
Until Bryan returns, I think it's time to put the title on Chris Jericho. Bring out Sting and have him go up against Triple H, Sheamus and Batista, and Orton against The Shield.
Can you please stop?
It's over, so I'll
We
start.
don't need that. We don't need Jericho to be the champion. He's a part-time player. We don't approve of that nonsense, do we, IWC?
You're subscribing to this part-time crap now?
No, of course not. I'm being facetious or sarcastic. Or,
just be David Hero.
Well, that's a lot.
Harsh enough, actually.
Yeah. Daniel Bryan, that's finished until SummerSlam. So stop talking about him. The Shield is the way to go. You know, I'm going to jump how Daniel Bryan's being booked. I love how Eric Young's being booked on TNA.
Really? Did you watch Impact last night?
You know why?
Where's the belt? Somebody should go on a search for the missing TNA World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, much like they need to find my trophy as well. Maybe we should look for
Linda told you precisely where it was.
Listen, but Eric Young will run down to the ring and fight all three of the, what is it? Bobby King MVP?
MVP King Lashley.
Yeah, MVP King Lashley. By himself. Daniel Bryan.
Well, with Austin Aries.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? He's being booked as a fighter, as a legit tough guy.
And finally, YouTube user Prexton says, and I quote, ending the Undertaker streak proved to be a bad omen for WWE. Wonder if he intended a pun there. Since then, it's been one disaster after the other. WWE Network bleeding money, leading to huge losses, underwhelming TV rights deal, stock price crashing, calls for McMahon's head by investors, and currently only 4 main event level charismatic stars on the roster, which will result in a drop in live event attendance and ratings. Won't be surprised if WWE closes down or gets bought off by early 2015. This actually will be the subject of tomorrow's big story on Prime Time.
Do you want to know why house show business will now be down across the board for everybody? It's summertime. People do not want to go indoors in the summertime. Right?
No, I disagree completely.
Please, why?
You saw X-Men today, right? Big movie coming out, Memorial Day weekend. It's usually one of the biggest movie weekends of the year. Right there.
At nighttime.
Disputes your... Okay, and WWE does their events when?
I went at 10 o'clock at night.
You're wrong. Let's just leave it at that. Because we're going to take a time out, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, it's this week's Thin Line and your comments from Twitter here on
real Thin Line lately, just so you know.
Welcome back to Hashtag Feedback Friday, ladies and gentlemen. The star, Damian Nelson, sitting alongside the sidekick, David Hero, here on Friday,
March a sidekick.
May 23rd,
you know,
2014.
Gene Oakland and I had a little chat about that. I don't appreciate him calling me the sidekick.
Well, he knows his role. He knows your role.
No, I found out you paid for that spot.
I don't pay for anything.
Well, you did something. Was it a cocktail or 2 or 3 or 5?
Well, each week on Twitter, folks, we give you the chance to tell us whether you loved or hated one of the week's big moments in wrestling. And this week, we draw a thin line between love and hate over the Adam Rose segment on this past Monday's WWE Raw. While wildly popular with the UK crowd on Raw, the jury is still out on the overall popularity of Adam Rose stateside. And the poll results, I think, further that fact, because as a matter of fact, 59% of you loved that segment, while 41% of you hated it. A few of you even went on to explain yourselves further, and on Twitter user at ABCDEFGHIJoe said, and I quote, "Don't be such a lemon, be a rosebud." And at KBL301MD said, "I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure it blows like all his stuff." And finally, at Psycho Walker said, "I was there, wow." We'll be polling you again next week, so be sure to follow at PWR Show on Twitter so your voice can be heard. I'm an Adam Rose Mark. He's a member of the Nelson family. I liked it. I'm a rosebud.
Obviously.
We also received some other comments and questions from you on Twitter regarding our determination that Bobby the Brain Heenan is the greatest manager ever. So let's take a look at those now. I don't like suckers. What if you fall? End up hurting something.
Well, you might choke.
At Sarah UMBC 1999 said, "You can take away Heenan's voice, but you can't take away his spirit, his sense of humor, or his perfectly executed talent." So true.
Absolutely. He's fantastic.
At Macaulay_Highland said, "At Heyman hustle has to be the greatest. Anyone he has worked with has gone far in their career."
I'm blocking that person.
At MetalFan26 said, "Captain Lou. Managing so many tag team champions, he had charisma, and he was Super Mario."
You know, Captain Lou, he was very pivotal, whatever that word is. Pivotal in the 80s.
He was.
He bridged. He was a big factor in wrestling going mainstream.
And finally, one of the finalists, actually, at the Jim Cornette, chimed in on the conversation. Said, "Well, there is no discussion. Bobby Heenan was the best manager ever."
Absolutely, and that is James E. Cornette. Obviously, he knows his stuff. You know, and you wanted to vote him off first off the island.
So, of course, you know, James E. Cornette chimes in. I guess when number two is saying number one is number one, there's no...
You are lucky.
We have an important phone call.
Phone call? You're on Feedback Friday?
Yes, on Feedback Friday. I guess
who's calling us?
A commentator, I believe.
All right, why not? Patch him through. It's Feedback Friday. Let's see who we got. Hello? Hello? Wait a minute. This is a video call.
Hello.
Wait, that's...
Hello.
Kenny Starmaker Bolin.
How are you fellas doing today?
Oh my! You know what? The last time I saw Mr. Bolin, he was selling gimmicks at Al Snow's wedding at the reception.
You were there. You were there. You know, I made $272 that day.
Well, and that
and
was
a lot of people got pissed about that. But I handed Al Snow $20 right off the top and dinner for 4 at Gaddyland.
Well, you can't beat that. And
then no one else got him anything that night.
But how did you get the honeymoon video so quick?
And I mass-produced all those gimmicks. It didn't cost him any money. I was the one that's taking all the risk and the gamble. But I'm glad to hear you were there and could speak that I was totally within my rights. I just had a table. I had a table anyway. What I put on it was my own personal business. But yeah.
Well, Kenny Bolin, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for the surprise call here. Well, Kenny Bolin, you know, obviously Kenny Bolin, Starmaker, manager of Stars down in OVW, but you posted on Facebook well, you had a different list, if you will, talking about the greatest managers ever. I assume that's why you're giving us a call here today.
Well, exactly. That's why I'm giving you a call. And I've had some people chime in. I posted the list on your wall. I had the list on mine and Jerry Jarrett's and a few others that actually their opinion might mean something to me. And I'll tell you whose opinion doesn't mean anything to me, and that's Jimmy Cornette. You all were sitting down there the other day, and someone sent me the link, and it said, greatest managers of all time, and in the caption it says, Bolin gets put over big. So I immediately assumed the right thing was done down there by David Hero and yourself, and that you had labeled me as the greatest manager of all time, because there's been a lot of people to say that, and normally I'm not one to blow my own horn, but who better knows the tune?
Wait a minute. A lot of people have said that you are the greatest manager of all time. Kenny Starmaker Bolin, a lot of people have said you are the greatest manager of all time. Who?
Well, there you are backing up what I just said. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and just throw out names and throw people under the bus because they might be also friends with a Bobby Heenan or a Jimmy Cornette or a Paul Heyman or what have you. I've worked with all these people, and I think my numbers and stats and figures stack up way beyond any of the guys that you just mentioned. The only reason I would put Heenan above me is because I actually like the man. He's a good man. He's a class man. And he's probably the only one in that entire list of 55 that I made out, including honorable mentions, that I actually think might be as good or a better man than me. So that's why I placed him at number 1.
The 55 on your top 30 list.
Well, there's honorable mentions, and we had several ties, as you saw. And some people that chimed in and had some people that they thought should be on the list. Well, number 1, unless you have managed a world champion or have beaten a world champion, then I don't give a damn what your opinion is. And I have done both. I have beaten John Cena in a loser league town match.
You beat John Cena?
Oh, it's on video. It's on my DVD that I sell for $12.95. And like I said, it's documented proof. There's all kinds of documentation on my 6-hour DVD that shows the greatest 10 years of my career. And who else has beaten these stars and plus managed all these world champions, the Mark Henrys, the John Cenas. And if you want to take it a step further, let's throw in the Brock Lesnars, the Randy Ortons.
Wait a minute. So you're saying, Kenny Bolin, you're saying you beat John Cena, you beat Brock Lesnar, you beat Randy Orton. You're saying all this?
He said he beat John Cena.
And you pinned John Cena 1, 2, 3 in the center of the ring, you're saying?
Center of the ring, 1, 2, 3. Pinned him, had my arm raised by Sean O'Hare, the special referee, who John Cena handpicked. He got to pick his own ref. I didn't even want Sean O'Hare as the referee.
Well, wait a minute. Wasn't Sean O'Hare a member? Wasn't he subscribed to or a member of Bolin Services at the time?
He was, and so was John Cena. They were both members of Bolin Services. But John Cena was having Cena and I were having some. We weren't seeing things eye to eye because he went to SmackDown and Raw And the agreement was when he went, I went. And he didn't take me with him. He said that I wouldn't care for the catering. I wouldn't like the snug airline flights. All this bullshit that I could have compensated for. I could have got a bigger plane. I could have got bigger seats. I could have ordered my own food for catering. Vince McMahon would have fed me anything I wanted. But he wanted all the glory and limelight for himself, and he left me behind, and I had to take things into a physical thing. I'm not even a wrestler, and I beat a WWE
But
World
Damien, what the Star Maker is also known for is he is the only man at OVW to make every single one of the Divas cry. Every one of them.
Well, they all wanted to be with me. I couldn't sexually take care of every single one of them. I mean, I handpicked a few. I'm not going to name names, Mickey James or any of those. I'm not going to drop names, but I couldn't take care of all of them. I'm a 54-year-old man now. But I think for 54 years old, a man to be able to take care of the sexual needs of as many women as I did, and believe me, they came to me. I didn't come to them. I don't. It's just like my Beats by Bolin headphones. I don't shove those down.
Wait. Beats by Bolin headphones?
Beats by you surely to God. If you're on Facebook, you've seen my Beats by Bolin headphones. They're taking the world by storm.
Where can I get those? Best Buy, Amazon.com.
Hell no, you get them through Facebook through me and save you some money. If you go through them, you got to buy that botanical offshoot brand. I got the same connections in China that they've got. I just pass the savings on to you. So you want to go through me to get those directly on Facebook.
He gets his headphones from China.
Speaking of connections, we lost you for a moment there, but Beats by Bolin. Beats by Bolin. Well, so are you, what are you saying here about the greatest manager ever? Okay, fine, you beat John Cena, you don't like Jim Cornette, you do like Bobby Heenan. We declared that Bobby Heenan was the greatest manager ever. It sounds as if you're telling us that you, Kenny Starmaker Bolin, thinks that he is the greatest manager ever.
Okay, not to mention all the people that I physically beat in a wrestling match, the Rob Conways, the Mark Henrys, the Brock. And you might as well say I beat Lesnar and Orton because there's many times that I told my man how to do it, which is basically like me doing it myself. That's what a manager does. So you can basically say that I have hand-beaten every star in the WWE. If I didn't do it physically, I did it mentally. And here's the other thing. Now, guys, think about this. All the guys that Cornette and Heenan and especially Heyman and a lot of those clowns, they got guys who were already elevated and already established stars. They were coattail riders. Every single wrestler I got that I placed into the WWE, which if you go to Wikipedia.com, and of course I didn't write it, you're not allowed to write your own Wikipedia, there are 54 wrestlers that I gave an opportunity in the WWE that at least got a shot. Not to mention the John Cenas, the Miz's, the Ricos, the Mark Henrys, the Sean O'Hares, the Rob Conways, the Eugenes, just to name a few, the Carlitos, the Brock Lesnars, the Ortons, who may have not been with me personally, but they feuded with me, and that's how they elevated their careers, because the tension was on them if they were battling Bolin services, and they knew that. So you either wanted to be with me or you wanted to be against me, because otherwise you would be with Sin, and all Sin ever produced was Batista. Woo! That's really fine on your resume. And you saw the big.
Speaking of divas,
the dude he's got.
Listen, all right. So here we're gonna make this fair, Kenny Bolin. We're gonna make this fair. We're gonna go out. We're gonna put it out on Twitter. We're gonna put it out on Facebook, and we're gonna let the viewers and the fans decide. Because if you're as great as you say you are, then the fans will support that, and they will decide whether or not you even need to be in the top 5 greatest managers ever.
That's without a doubt right there. But this is a common sense thing. And like I said, I posted it on your wall especially, unless you have beaten world champions and have managed world champions, what the fuck is your opinion to me?
You add the third F to Feedback Friday. I think that's a great place to end it. Now, just in fair sharing here.
End it. You mean you two are not in full agreement with me? You don't understand what
I agree 110%.
Look, I
elevated these people from dirt. They were nothing. Vince McMahon didn't even think John Cena could make it. He's documented on my life saying so.
Bolin,
I'm the one that believed in him. I'm the one that made him a goddamn star.
Kenny Bolin, here's the thing. Here's the thing. In my opinion, Jim Cornette is a better manager than you will ever be.
Please explain that to me. Please give me your educational reasoning for that.
I did so on Greatest Ever last week. You watched it. You saw the program. I don't need to explain anymore, but I want you to allow us to let the fans prove to the world that Kenny Starmaker Bolin is the greatest manager ever.
Kenny Starmaker Bolin never once berated a poor, defenseless Dairy Queen employee.
Absolutely not. Those poor people are in there working for $4.25 an hour, normally overtime off the clock. And I'm the people's manager. I'm the blue collar manager. I'm the guy that understands where they come from. I had to work for a fucking living when I was a kid. I worked for Kroger. I worked for Humana. I worked in the mortgage industry. You know what Cornette did? He's had a silver spoon shoved up his ass and in his mouth his entire goddamn life. Never worked a goddamn day in his life. And he lucked into the wrestling business because Christine Jarrett liked him, and Jerry Jarrett gave him a pity job. And even Jerry Jarrett got rid of him. And then Watts got rid of him. And then the Von Erichs got rid of him. And then Atlanta got rid of him. And then he couldn't run Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And then Glow got rid of him. And then the WWE got rid of him. Ohio Valley Wrestling got rid of him. So if he's such a great manager and a great fucking genius, why can't he hold a goddamn job? I was at OVW for 19 years. I was the Jerry Lawler of Louisville. I never had to leave Louisville. Why? Because every goddamn top star in the business came to me. Why? Because it elevated their careers. That's exactly why. You want to tell me
this is the truth according to Bolin. This is the truth according to Bolin, but it's not the truth.
I know Hero agrees with me. Hero's smart.
He's a kiss ass. Of course he's going to agree with you. I'm simply saying you need to prove. Everything you've said hasn't done it for me. But prove, and we're going to let the fans decide.
It's more than proof. It's on DVD. You can go. There's a website out there that talks about all the people that I physically beat in wrestling, all the people that I elevated. Who did Cornette elevate? Condrey and Eaton were already stars when he got a hold of them. He damn near killed Yokozuna's career, and I think he might have killed him personally. Yoko should still be alive today. We're both fat. We're both big men. I'm still alive. Why? Because I don't disassociate myself from Jimmy Cornette. That's exactly why.
Fair enough. All right.
Cornette has killed more careers, including his own, than anybody I can name in fucking professional wrestling. He is the death of this industry and can't get a job to this day.
We should have taken this call.
I stayed 19 years with one company and they begged me not to leave. Name me the company that ever begged Jimmy not to leave. Oh, did I forget ROH? He can't hold a fucking job.
Kenny Starmaker Bolin. All right. If you want more of this beautiful and gorgeous insight, we can catch you.
I didn't aim for it to be this confrontational because you come across as a smart individual. I thought you had IQ. I thought you had intellect. I knew Hero was smart. He was the one that went through and told you how great I was the other day. If it was up to him, he'd have probably had me one or two. But oh no, you think you're the Jonathan Coachman of that fucking show, and you're trying to run the goddamn thing. Hero ought to be running it.
Why do I have to be Jonathan Coachman? Why do I have to be Jonathan Coachman? Why can't I be a Mean Gene or a Sean Mooney or a Craig
George? I gotta call my home health nurse here in a minute.
But you don't even let us. Can we get a point in? I'm trying to put over your podcast there.
If you follow the contour of your head, you'll come directly to the point. But go ahead.
It's the Bolin Alley. It's a podcast. Yes, it's available. How do people get it? Kenny Starmaker Bolin.
Oh, well, I'm going to give you a scoop. All you've given me is grief and heartache. I'm going to give you a scoop. June the 6th, I'm the highest rated show on the Cornette Experience. Every show and Tommy Young can't hold a candle to me. And
Tommy Young, the greatest referee ever.
Oh, who gives a fuck? He's a goddamn referee. If he's any good, he's a manager or a wrestler. Fuck referees. So, enough about referees. Next week, June the 6th, live from London, England at high noon on Harry Barnett's podcast. High noon, Jimmy Cornette has been told to be the guest on the Bolin Alley for the first time in 7 years. He's never done my show. I've elevated his show.
So he's going to own you again?
I've elevated his show so many times I can't even count. And I'm tired of doing it. I'm tired of giving him the ratings. I'm tired of giving him the rub with Kenny Bolin. Now he's coming on my show, and I'm going to control the flow of the show. I'm going to ask the tough questions. I'm going to ask the embarrassing questions about why he can't hold a fucking job, and I want to hear his goddamn answer.
We're out of time. That's at Starmaker Bolin.
I'll never do the experience again, and if you don't treat me with more respect, you cocksucker, I'll never do your fucking show either.
Speaking of treating with respect, at Starmaker Bolin on Twitter.
I didn't mean to call you a cocksucker. I'm sure you do it for pleasure and fun, and I take that back.
Proof positive that he is the greatest manager ever, at least in his own mind, ladies and gentlemen. What the hell's so funny to you? We're not taking this call again. Kenny Starmaker Bolin. I guess that's I'm not even going to say thank you. Let's go to Linda. We're out of time. We're done here.
You ungrateful bastard.
Well, it was very interesting to say the least, but congratulations to this week's winner of a free wrestling tee from ProWrestlingTees.com. Twitter follower @MetalFan26. Thanks for your comments, and we look forward to giving away another tee next week. But before that, we have Primetime TV tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Central, and we'll see you then.